On behalf of your host, Steve D, this is Bruce Buffer saying thank you for tuning in to Extreme Life. And now, this is the moment Extreme Life fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
Hey everybody, this is Steve D at ExtremeLife.com, Extreme Life Podcast. I am here today with David Martinez.
What's going on,
Shark
guys?
diver extraordinaire.
Oh,
Legend.
thank you.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Thank you, appreciate that.
We're going to talk all things shark diving right now. So we got people out on a dive, and we're kind of just hanging out watching a deck right now and keeping an eye on things. And we figured we had a minute here to look around and have a little talk. So, Dave, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is really
appreciate
exciting. Yeah, I've never done, this is my first podcast, right?
Okay.
So I've never done this. It's very cool to be a part of it and actually see like someone who's done it before too, you know?
Yeah, we have fun. That's what we do, right? And you and I have known each other for a while, and we've done some dives and a lot of shark diving. And you know, you kind of threw me in the deep end a little bit this week.
Yeah, no, we got real wild, huh? This week, huh?
A little black belt level stuff.
A good push, really, because dealing with all of that was a lot, I bet, but it was good, you know.
How many? Now we're kind of at the end of our trip right now. We've had a bunch of dives. First 3-4 days were amazing. A lot of visibility. The visibility kind of went down a little bit over the end of the week, so we kind of cut back a little bit. But we've had how many sharks on one dive at least?
So far, I for sure have counted. I want to say 7 that we can identify, and probably about 2 that we cannot. So 9 total. I don't want to be quoted on that because it's
quoted, man. We're gonna have fact checkers out there. They're gonna be looking, and if you don't have it right, they're gonna cancel you.
Exactly. These 2 girls that came in, I'm not too sure if they're local to the area or just doing flybys. It's known that there are some girls that do come by, just doing pass-bys. It's kind of like a big highway.
They
for
don't
tigers.
feed. They just kind of
they just one time they show up, next day they never come back. And then we never see them again. So we just have a photo and a memory of it, and then but there's quite a bit of those that do show up just randomly.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's pretty cool, because you never know when you ring the dinner bell who's going to show up, right? It's kind of like, hey, we're just ringing the dinner bell. We got bait in the water. We're down at the bottom. We're feeding, and whoever comes to dinner comes to dinner.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about doing this a lot. Is you get to see who's still around or who stays during the off seasons or the winter seasons, and just. I think Maui, we can kind of say stays year round. Jitterbug as well,
And that's what I was going to ask you. Who are the main players here? Who are the and what are their characteristics?
There's one the classic one we'll talk about, which everyone probably knows, is the jitterbug one, right? This is a tiger shark that has a very significant look to her, where her nose or snout is almost bent, and people call it a butt because it's
butt face.
Yeah, they call it butt face because it symbolizes. It looks like a butt. It really does. But she's one of our kind of high curious girls, very bitey, very nose touchy with people. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, I don't know, she's just a funny shark, man. And everyone knows.
She's very curious. Yeah, she's probably one of the famous ones. Her and Emma are probably the 2 most famous out here. We didn't see Emma this trip at all.
Emma, to describe Emma, Emma is a very old classic shark. Everyone knows her around the world, but to give her distinction, her tail on the bottom half is kind of folded up where it's almost missing.
Yeah.
So it gives it a little distinction to
And she's big.
Giant.
Big shark.
Big shark.
I remember the first time I saw her, I think it was 2014 or 15, and she was like a submarine coming in. She was huge.
She was old. I remember one of my first years here working on the boats, it's been about 2 years now, my first year, I saw Emma pregnant, and then the next year I saw her skinny, like she just had given birth,
so
and
she had
seeing the size difference from her being just this tank, because you remember those
when
when
she's
she was
pregnant,
like that,
she's girthy.
and then
She's
she
huge.
just turned like super skinny, and then she could just see the age on her, like her face just looks aged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, she has those marks on her tail. She has that from possibly scientists tagging
That's
her up.
that's what I heard. So no, don't quote me on this, as I said, because I could get in trouble for saying stuff like that. But that's what I had heard. That's the reason why her tail's like that. I'm not too sure what other reason. I thought that someone tagged her, and her tail just rejected it, and it just ended up forming up. That's what Emma's, and then Maui's. I guess her tag didn't go through as well, and ended up leaving like scars.
Yeah. And then, so we got that's we talked about a few. Any other ones that are noteworthy that are out here?
Let's see. Let's talk about the ones that we've had this week. We can say like Kim. Kim is a girl that has on her tail, like on the tip of it, it almost looks like a split, like a fingers almost, and on her dorsal as well. They're like, it looks exactly like two fingers. They're split. She's someone that I saw my first year with Finch, so that was a long time ago. And this is my first time seeing her again.
She came back. Yeah, because they disappear for periods of time.
Yeah.
And nobody knows where they go.
No.
Where do they go?
No. It's a seasonal thing. Well, it should be a seasonal thing.
Yeah, but then sometimes they miss a season.
But sometimes they miss the season and they end up staying year round. So it's a different. It's very interesting about the girls, and like I guess like their personalities. I would say like. They're very smart. I'll say that first. Like they've been here before I've even been here.
Oh yeah.
You know, they've been here for a very long time, so they know the game. They know how everything works. As in the divers, they know that we're bringing bait to them and we're feeding them there in this spot, and they're safe in this spot as well. Yep. Because fishing is still an active thing, and I know that shark fishing isn't like. I don't think it's actually banned here. I don't know.
I think this might be a protected area. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Tiger Beach generally, I think, is a protected area, but the problem is there's not enough people to kind of watch it and make sure nothing's happening, right? And we know that. Now you keep mentioning the girls, right? Are they all girls here?
Yeah, all girls.
So it's like a sorority.
Yeah. Huh?
How do they get in? Do they get voted in? What happens here?
What I have heard
why are there no males?
Right. What I've heard from like other shark scientists, I'm not a shark scientist, so I don't really know. But what I've heard from them is that actually the guys are out on the deep edge over here. So if we kind of go out further, it drops down to 2,000 feet.
Yeah.
And the guys are actually on the deep water,
on the outside,
and the girls come into shallow water. And the girls are traveling, and so they kind of have to pass through all these guys in a way to get here. Okay. And this is like their girl sanctuary in a way.
So it's like college, basically.
Basically, it's like college. So this is where the girls hang out and no guys allowed, you know.
And then the guys are all out there
and they're all
partying, doing keggers,
doing shark stuff out there.
Doing keggers out there and trying to invite the women out, right? I guess, you know. So it's
It's definitely funny. But it's very interesting, like, because I've seen like. I think the only time I will say Dirty Girl came last year, and she looked just destroyed, like beat up, and it was amazing to see scars. Like fresh scars. Yeah. And she was mean, and when she came into the box, her head is very slanted already. She's almost like her vertebrae is kind of like bent. I don't know if that's just her natural way or if it was from like an accident for fishing or something.
Yeah.
Because her vertebrae is very bent. And as she comes into the box, you can't really tell because like their mouths are already underneath their face, right?
Yeah. So like it's hard to tell.
So now her head's even dipped down even more. Sorry.
That's okay.
And as she's coming through, she just came in pissed. I remember that day specifically because that was the day I was like, I gotta respect this one.
Yeah, and that's another thing though. So each shark has its own personality, right? I think we can kind of gather that. They all have. We know Jitterbug is always really, comes in hot. You gotta feed her a couple times real quick before, so she calms down.
Exactly.
As you get to know them all, I mean, how do you kind of manage it? How do you manage all these like
I think
5, 6, 7 tiger sharks on a dive, feeding at 40 feet, give or take?
I think like one of the best ways is my father told me this. My father told me the tigers will teach you.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's someone. That's why I kind of encourage you going on the box, because it's like it's something that you really can't teach someone. Like I think you more of having an understanding of the personalities of the sharks and what each one will do in a certain situation. Like if Jitterbug's close to you, don't take any chances, basically, right?
Yeah,
like,
because she could just accidentally get you.
She's gonna be the one that's going to accidentally quotations, right? Like, but she's gonna get you, you know. And then like Maui, like you could kind of probably be lax with her. Kim, I would be on my toes.
Yeah.
So like, I think that factor is very important, and that comes with just time.
Yeah.
Just time on the box and with them, really.
Yeah.
Like getting to, because it's also quick.
Well, that's why you've been pushing me this week, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
You've been, you know, I mean, I've been on almost every feed.
Yeah.
At least at some point.
How's it been?
It's been awesome. I mean, I love doing that, but it's you know, it's a lot different kind of, you know, when you don't do it all the time.
Yes.
You know, I do it a couple times a year, once a year, whatever it is when I come out, and I go on the box when I can.
I bet it's pretty cool though to have that chance too. Like,
oh, it's awesome. It's fun.
Like,
I love it.
Like, see it.
Yeah, I love
really
it.
Cool.
I love it. And then, you know, like I said, to get like 4 or 5 of them on a box at the same time, and you're trying to, you know, it's a big difference between just one and managing 1 or 2 than having 3, 4, 5. You know, once you get over 4, I think it becomes a little more, because now they're coming in from every angle all the time.
Yeah.
And they're not coming to get you. They're coming to get the box, but you're in the way. So, you know, I think you just got to learn to manage that a little. And, you know, I mean, I got to learn to manage that a little bit better, right? Because it's one of those things, like I said, I don't do it all the time. I think if I did it all the time. But another thing I want people to know, though, is you guys work your asses off here. So when people come out and do these dives, just being on the box myself with that many sharks around, experiencing that, it is taxing. This is not an easy job. This is a job that
thank you, man.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. So make sure, you know, if you're coming out here, respect these guys, and you know, I think you deserve a lot of respect for just managing that. Because think about it, I'm on the box maybe 20 minutes at a time, you know, throwing, you know, whatever I can, and there were times I couldn't even get my hand in the crate to get the bait out before they were on top of me again. These guys managed to do it and look so gracefully, way gracefully than I do most of the time. So,
well, funny thing is, like, I've been doing this for quite a while. I will say I've been doing this at a very early age.
Yep.
Jake hasn't though, and Jake kind of.
Now Jake's your partner here who works with you.
I should describe that bit. Jake is a crew member that works on board with me here in the Dolphin Dream, and he's also a fellow shark feeder now. When he first came on board, he didn't really have any experience with this, so it was pretty like seeing the evolution of him, like picking things up, like at a pace that I need him to pick things up.
It makes you proud, right? Because you're teaching him stuff.
Yeah, he's gotten it very down and hands down. Like I can just send him out there, and I can feel confident that he's gonna be. Things will probably be okay.
Yep.
You know, so it's really cool to see that.
How old were you when you started feeding?
My first time was actually on this boat when I was like 14. My father took me, 14, 16, I want to say. I don't want to say 14, to relax.
Relax, people. It wasn't 14. He was bait at 14.
But like, probably like 16. My dad took me when I was in high school, and
and now your dad, I've interviewed him before.
Yes. Eli.
Early on, Eli Martinez, super famous shark diver. So well, very well known. I mean, Shark Week, Discovery, he does a lot of stuff, and he's constantly Shark Diver Magazine. Just want to throw it out there to SDM, you know, because they run a lot of trips as well, and definitely check them out, because I think, you know, your dad is just, I have nothing but respect for your dad. He's an incredible figure in this world, in the shark world, and done a lot for conservation, which is also one of the reasons this is going on, right? This is not just about, you know, some people say, oh, it's about making money, whatever. Yeah, there's a part there, but a lot of this is about conservation, because people think that sharks are trolling around the oceans looking for people to eat, and they're not.
No.
They're. I mean, if that was true, you'd be dead.
Definitely,
I'd be dead.
Yeah.
A lot of the people on this boat would already be dead.
We probably wouldn't be doing this. Yeah.
And we wouldn't be doing this. So part of doing this is posting videos of the feeds and things like that, is to show people that, look, they're not interested in us. They're interested in the actual bait itself. They're not interested in the people. They know we're not their food source, right?
Yeah, it's really cool to share that part of the sharks with them, like sharing online stories of them, giving these sharks a voice, basically, like that they're not just mindless killing machines, or they're out to get us, you know, that they're actually a creature or a species that have a conscience, and that they're smart and they know what we are. We come visit them, and we've given them names, and we see them on a regular basis. Not that like we own them. We don't own them or anything. They're free. This is the ocean. They come as they choose.
Yep.
But it's very important to show that side, that they're not here to really do anything to you.
No, they don't want you. They don't want you. They don't want to eat you. And you know, matter of fact, if you see a shark and you're underwater, 9 times out of 10, you just got to sit there, be calm, and
10 times out of 10.
Yeah, you know.
And then, but now I will say though that there are sharks and they do need respect, of course.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. They're not
Like,
puppies.
Yeah, definitely
They're not puppies, but
like definitely keep your eyes on them. Give them respect, because this is their home.
yeah.
But no, they're not here just specifically to harm us or anything like that.
What are the main rules you would say to people if they come out and they want to come out and try this and do this? Let's say I'm here for the first time. What are you going to tell me about shark diving?
What can I say about shark diving? One is like I think what I just said. Respect them. Respect them in a sense, as in they're allowing you to be in their space, and they're not trying to harm you. But know that if they wanted to, they totally
And
could.
you're not going to outswim them.
No
You're not
to do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's just no chance.
Yeah.
But it's also like a very humbling experience when you have that time and space with them and they get close to you. So respect would be one. Don't be panicky, like you said, I guess.
Yep.
Don't be flaily. Don't be making commotion. I guess vibration, like how you feel, they will sense it. I don't want to say like a dog can sense like your feelings if you're a bad person or a good person, but they can definitely like they can sense that for sure. They can sense if you're confident or not confident.
Yep.
And stand your ground. Very important one.
And look at them. Someone told me years ago, if you don't want it to come near you, stare at it.
Yeah.
Because sharks don't like to come at something. They want to come at you when you don't see them. It's not the shark that you see, it's the one you don't, right?
Exactly.
So stare at them and make sure you make eye contact with them, and generally what will happen is they'll veer off.
Yeah.
And if you have to give them a little push on the top of their nose, you do that, right?
And that's like the next step, like after the stand around, you know, it's like don't panic, you know, respect them, don't panic, stand your ground, right? And then after that, like it would be look, face, and then redirect, if anything, because if they do want to do an exploratory test on you, you know, they just might, like they don't have hands or feet, right? So they can't really touch or anything. It's all with their snout and nose.
Yeah,
so they come first with their head, because that's like their hands for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and then like Steve said, you would just
Top of the head.
Extended, palm of your hand on top of the head and redirect it.
Yep, and it works every time. Every time.
Every time. Yeah. Pretty much.
Until it doesn't. No. Unless it doesn't. But no, it's, you know, we've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it, like David, you've been doing it forever since you were a kid. And, you know, you come from the lineage of shark diving.
I just grew up watching it mainly.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't a water child as a kid. Like, I definitely wasn't. As a kid, I was more a skateboarder, and I lived in Texas, so there wasn't much water going on. So I never really grew up like surfing, or I never grew up like thinking that this all came later in life. When I turned like 16, I just went on an extreme life journey, right? And I went
to Mexico.
I went to California.
Oh, California. Yeah.
And then so So it's funny, like I never really was a water person. I just watched my dad on TV and magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was what kind of.
And this is how it sparked me.
You know, honestly, I think it's just in your genes. I don't think you really had much of a choice.
Yeah. Huh?
I think it would have eventually happened no matter what. You know,
me and my dad
even
say-
if you went to law school, you probably would still be end up here.
I think I probably would have followed my dad more than anything.
Yeah.
I think like if my dad was an electrician, I'd probably be an electrician.
Well, there's a lot to be said about that family lineage, and it's definitely, you know, you have the great, you know, you have a great touch with them. I mean, I watch you all the time down there, and you know, it's just amazing to watch. It's like watching a ballet with sharks, right? You know, the way you guys handle them.
My father used to call it the dance.
Yeah, it is. You have to dance with them.
Yeah.
You have to dance with them.
It's a dance.
Yeah, I look more like a steamroller coming through, but you know, hey, I do the best I can with the limited time that I have on the.
Time on the bar.
But these guys, they like to throw me in the deep end. So, but it was definitely a fun week. We had a great time, and you know, is there anything else you think people should know?
About sharks, man, I could say talk all day.
Well, how about you know, where they could find you, where they could follow you, any of that stuff?
Well, like Instagram, of course, or Facebook. My name is David Thomas Martinez on Facebook. Instagram would be Welcome to David's World. And I just have everything under that. YouTube's like Pirate Life, David Pirate Life. And I just kind of post things like I like on like Twitter, David Pirate Life as well. I just write quotes. I just have fun, and I like talking about sharks. That's really what I do.
Yeah. So definitely follow David. I think, you know, I follow David. I'll tell you that. I've known David for a while now, and great guy and fun to follow. Your posts are awesome on the page, and you know, it's all about sharks and taking care of them and giving people the experience so that they're not afraid. I think, you know, I said to somebody one day, I said, you know, I get emails all the time about people saying they're afraid to go in the ocean because they're afraid of sharks and they don't want to get bit. But nobody ever asked me about drowning, which is way more likely. Way more likely. I mean, it's kind of an irrational fear in a lot of ways. When
malfunction.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there's a million other ways to go. That's probably, as a matter of fact,
more practical ways.
Yeah, most injuries diving happen on the boat, not in the water. Right? You know, sharks aren't really the ones that are injured. You know, you get injured on the boat a whole hell of a lot easier in any operation, you know, because the boat rolls and moves and people swing around, you know. But no, it's definitely awesome having you on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I know we've been trying to make this happen all week. It's hard to find a time, man. We're busy, and you know, I really had a great week.
It's fun.
Yeah, man. Fun. And I had a great time this week, and I highly recommend the Dolphin Dream. I come on this boat every year, a couple times a year, and love coming out here, and we'll continue to come out here. So if you're looking for a trip, look at dolphindream.com. Shark expeditions, you can find the boat anywhere pretty much that does shark trips. You can also find me at extremelife.com and look for trips on there as well. And you know, we'll talk to you soon. All right, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome job, brother.